We gonna be too long tonight.
No, we ain't, because we ain't got a lot. We ain't got a lot of highlights to talk about.
Well, there's plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
Not a lot of highlights.
No.
But there's plenty to talk about. First and foremost, we ready to roll right now?
Yeah.
So I can get.
Yeah. Go ahead and do the whole.
What I want to do
the whole jump off.
tonight.
Watch the game podcast.
I want you to vent your frustrations first.
All right, if you just tuned in, this is the Watch the Game podcast. Pennjamin Bannekar, LA Cheatham. We are discussing the Week 3 debacle. Chicago Bears versus Cleveland Browns. Venting my frustration. Okay, so first, let me just, my outlook going into the game, I thought that Justin Fields would be a better option at quarterback than Andy Dalton, just because he's more mobile, just so he can move around a little bit. He could make some things happen with his athleticism. That's what I thought. He's still a rookie, but I thought we would see more than we got. Now, on the flip side of that, our head coach, Matt Nagy, did not set him up to succeed whatsoever in that game. The defense played well enough for us to win, because it was a one-score game late in the ball game, late third quarter, early fourth, one-score game. They did not run the ball a whole lot. I get the stats in a minute. Justin Fields threw the ball 20 times, but he was back there running for his life the whole entire game. And what was most...
I don't think he had a chance to run a few times.
Yeah.
He was just stuck.
Right. I guess what was most concerning and disappointing, again, was the play calling. Like, Nagy, put the guy in a position where he can help the team. You didn't do that. You put him back there like, Justin, just go do it. Just go do it. I seen you do it at Ohio State. Go do it. And at this point in his career, he can't do that right now. Like, we playing NFL football. These people get paid just like our players get paid. They playing for mortgages, scholarships, tuition, all that. They playing for that too. Like, you can't just go out there and think like, we Ohio State, we gonna be out, we more talented than the other team. No, it don't work like that in the league. So I thought that was my biggest takeaway, was Nagy put Fields in the position and said, go win the game.
Okay. Now you're talking about the Cleveland game.
Yeah.
We're going to go back. All right. Justin Fields was playing because Andy Dalton was injured.
Right.
So he had an opportunity to start.
Right.
First and foremost, we back. It's been a while. We had some things go down, good, bad. Went down to the big house, enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah, we did.
We've been out of action for a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is way bigger than just that one game we saw Sunday afternoon. This is all about Matt Nagy's ability to adjust, and stubbornness on his behalf, and it goes right back. A lot of people talking about what he did to Mr. Trubisky.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. Now, I went back as of December 31st, 2020. Or was it New Year's Day? I don't know for sure. Ohio State played Clemson.
Yep.
So we watched the game Sunday afternoon, Bears against the Cleveland Browns. It looked nothing like the things that allowed Justin Fields to have pretty much the game of his life in college.
Right.
Does the name Trey Sermon ring a bell to you?
The running back that is currently starting for the San Francisco 49ers, who happens to be on that team with Justin Fields?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take the focus off of Justin Fields, and we're going to figure out how we can help this guy out. Coming into the season, the national media, the local media, everyone was talking about how much better David Montgomery had gotten. How much better he was towards the end of the season. He was probably one of the top 5 running backs in the league. Okay, we draft Justin Fields. And then, okay, you get Andy Dalton. Okay, I understand your game plan with Andy Dalton is going to be a lot different than what you're going to ask Justin Fields to do. You got a veteran quarterback and you got a rookie. All right. So he's playing because Andy Dalton was injured. At that point, even when Andy Dalton was starting, David Montgomery wasn't really the focal point of his offense.
No.
And granted, he had some good games. He had a real good game against the Rams in the opener because they were like allowing him to run the football. And he didn't play he didn't have as much production against the Bengals. But they won the game. The defense woke up that day, and they played their ass off. They won the game.
Right.
By the way, defense played lights out. They played well enough to beat Cleveland. But what about Justin Fields? You mentioned Ohio State. What about Justin Fields told Matt Nagy that I'm going to let this guy sit back in the pocket and just read the defense? When you're already going into the season with a questionable offensive line,
Pathetic.
we knew that going into the end of last season, coming into this season, get rid of Charles Leno, then you injury plagued at the position of left tackle, one of the most important offensive line positions in the game of football.
Yeah.
We get down to Jason Peters, 39 years old. He played pretty good against the Bengals. You line him up against one of the premier Russian defensive rushers in the league,
Myles Garrett and Clowney.
Okay, now you never went out there to protect your quarterback for one. Then you never allowed your up-and-coming running back to be a vocal point of the game. Look, man, I don't care if it's Justin Fields. I don't care if it's Andy Dalton. I don't care if it's Nick Foles. Either one of them guys, you have to still run the damn ball. And I don't know what the hell he saw at Ohio State. Because when I look back at that game against Clemson, it was you came away from that game saying this is a read option, play action quarterback. And we saw none of that. The best play that the Bears had prior to their pass interference late in the game was the very first play of the game. And all of that ass kicking we seen, the first play of the game was the most productive play in the game. They gave it to David Montgomery around the left side of the offense, 16-yard game. It went all downhill from there.
Yeah.
You go into the locker room down maybe 10 points.
Yeah, what?
Was it 10 points?
Yeah.
Still a winnable game, still in the game. Neither offense had really established the rhythm. This is the thing, in-game adjustment. The Cleveland Browns showed Matt Nagy exactly how to play his rookie quarterback. They beat him to the screen game. They beat him to the running game. And then when they got those things going, they were able to loosen it up and get a couple big plays. This is how you play Baker Mayfield. This is how you play Justin Fields. Baker Mayfield didn't have a great game either. He was having a hell of a time just, Khalil Mack and Robbie Quinn had a hell of a game.
They came through with some big sacks on third down. They killed drives, got them out of foot field goal range. Like we was in the game. The defense played well.
Look here. Now we're to the point where we don't know what the hell to expect against Detroit. Now, up to the date, Matt Nagy has not named a starter. He hasn't even said who's going to call the plays. Look, we cannot say a whole lot more than what's been said around the local media in Chicago and the national media throughout. There's not a whole lot we can say that has not been said already.
Right.
So, I took it upon myself. God damn it, if Matt Nagy ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna figure out a way to get Justin Fields going. Okay? Cole Kmet, David Montgomery, Allen Robinson.
2 catches for 27 yards.
These are supposed to be our weapons on offense. It's got to start with David Montgomery. Then you can get Cole Kmet going. Then you can get Allen Robinson going. I revert back to the Ohio State game against Clemson. They got Trey Sermon going. Then they got the tight end caught 2 touchdowns in that game. Then at the end of the game, when all hell had break loose, they loosened them up. There was Olave, David Montgomery, the running back, Cole Kmet, the tight end, and Allen Robinson. That's exactly how they should be running this offense. Challenge the offensive line to run block. We already know that.
You remember at the end of last season when Nagy was relieved of play calling duties and Lazard was calling the plays? That's when we saw the emergence of David Montgomery. Coming into this season, who did we find out was going to be calling the plays again?
Well, he got a bright idea. And what Matt Nagy wants is to be considered an offensive guru. And I understand.
He's not Mike Martin. He's not Mike Martin. He's not.
I understand that. You got a calling card. You want to prove to everybody this is who you are, this is what you do. But at the end of the game, you got to figure out a way to just win a game. It don't even look like he's trying to figure out a way to score 7 points. Let alone win a football game, put 4 quarters together and win a game. Then when first 15 plays break down, he don't make adjustments.
No.
Don't play to the strengths of the team. Don't make adjustments. Formula for disaster.
Dude, if you take a 1,000, the 300,000 foot view of however that saying goes, and you look around the league, who's some of the best play callers in the league? You got Shanahan from San Francisco. What is he doing all the time? Running the ball. You got John Harbaugh in Baltimore Ravens. They said, you know what? This is Lamar Jackson's skill set. We're going to take the offense and cater it to him. And look what they just did 2 weeks ago. They just beat the AFC champion, Kansas City. And they was down, 11 points? They was down late in that game. They came back and won. They just came back and beat Detroit last week. I don't know what Matt Nagy is looking at. I don't know who's feeding him intel. I would love to know what goes on in the offensive meetings at Hallis Hall during the week, because they got to be saying the same things to him that we saying, or they just all finna be out on the street after they lose to the Lions.
Well, that's the thing. What are they saying? Because based on the most recent press conference, they won't reveal who the starter is, and they won't even say who's going to make play calls in the next game. They hear us. They hear us. Everybody talking about it. They just trying to find trying to find a way to disguise the confusion that's amongst them. Now, I laid my game plan out. Kudos to the defense. But if you're not gonna scheme up your quarterback to his skill set, I don't give a damn who it is. You gotta run the damn football. You gotta establish the run. You gotta establish the run, because it's obvious our offensive line is bad.
Yeah.
So you can't expect them to do much. Everybody's talking about screen passes, chip blocking, bringing 2 tight ends in, and you didn't see that at all. Did you know that at the last play of the game, 4th and 10, Justin Fields injured his hand?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that come out during the week that he was injured. But
they need to get Matt Nagy the hell away from Justin Fields.
And remember on draft night how we felt it was a buzz in the city, and we was like, Pace and Nagy, they probably bought themselves another year with this pick. And then in the preseason, when Justin came in that first game, like everybody was trying to make a play, and we was thinking, you know what, we ain't gonna make the playoffs, but we may exceed our expectations. This football team may be on the uptick. But we should be 0-3. If you look at Cincinnati, they just dropped the dub versus us in week 2. But Cincinnati is a better football team than we are. The Rams, obviously one of the best teams in the league. And then what we just put on display versus the Browns. The Browns, undefeated. No, they lost their first game. So we really a 0-3 football team.
Well, it's almost like looking at that 5-1 start from last year. You see some things and you wonder why, but now things are exactly what they are. We know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
We challenged the defense after the Rams game. I mean, I think everybody challenged the defense. His name slips my mind. Eddie Jackson.
Yeah.
Eddie Jackson was challenged from week 1. After such a horrible game he had in week one against the Rams. Then he came back against the Bengals and caused a turnover and just got things started. I think they had about 4 turnovers in that game?
I think 3, yeah. 3 or 4.
Okay. I think it was 4 because I know they had a fumble and 3 picks, ain't it? A fumble and 3 picks,
Right,
if I'm not mistaken.
right. I forgot about the fumble, yeah.
Okay, so the defense, they answered the bell, but then all of a sudden we go out against Cleveland. And just because you don't game plan around your top 5 running back, and you seem like you want to prove to everybody that Justin shouldn't have been on the field.
Do you think this dude got that big of a... Like, your job is on the line at this point. Like, are you really going to cut off your nose to spite your face? We know you wasn't... I'm talking about Nagy. We know you didn't buy in on Mitch. Mitch was handed to you. We know that. Okay, we get it. We know that's why you put Nick Foles in week 3 last year. And we was watching the game together. We was like, yo, what the hell going on? So we know this. But you gonna put Justin in a situation to fail just so you can say, I told y'all he wasn't ready. That's why we playing Andy. Like, dude. Midway through the 3rd quarter, that's how I actually felt. I felt like he was trying to prove a point. Okay, now I'm ready for Bill Lazor to call the plays. Now they're not telling us who's gonna call the plays as of right now, but we know exactly what we're looking at. Mm-hmm.
I think I've said it enough how things should go, in my opinion. And looking forward to Detroit. The Lions are coming in at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
It's even been reports that as of a few days ago, that if Matt Nagy if we don't win this game, he could be one of the first coaches that the Bears fire during the season. They've never done this before.
He brought it on himself. He bringing it on himself. We are not the Kansas City Chiefs. We are not, the Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson thing. We passed that. We got we think we got a serviceable quarterback. But set him up for success. That's all we saying. We can't. He only threw 20 passes, right? It was 6 out of 20. He was sacked 9 times. So I don't know how that works in the scheme of how many pass plays they actually call, but he needs to be around 20 to 25 passes a game right now as a rookie. Go back and look at how Pete Carroll and their offensive staff treated Russell Wilson when he was the quarterback. Go back and look at how when Tom Brady was a rookie, how they played. Go. Just...
Well, we had this discussion before, and I told you I did that. I went back and I looked at how Tom Brady played for Michigan. Bill Belichick asked him to do nothing different from what he did at Michigan.
Yeah.
To this day, he's doing nothing different from what he did at Michigan. Because what he did, you set him up with a run game early in his career till he can figure out, sit back, watch defensive schemes to the point where he's seen enough, got enough experience, he's seen all the tricks. Now he could play the game in his head. And that's how you develop a quarterback. It's always been said that you protect the quarterback with a young quarterback with a solid running game. Well, they got this thing called your prime, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're young, that means we want to protect you. Once you get in your prime, we can kind of, let you wing it. Because now you're in your prime. You've seen a lot. You got the ability to do certain things, so you can take a few chances. But also what happens is, after your prime, you start to slide down, and your skills start to diminish. And at that point, you have to go back and rely back on the things that you have to rely on as a rookie. Why? Because you want to be healthy enough to finish, and your skills are diminished a little bit, but on the upside, you're a little smarter.
Right.
So, let's talk about Andy Dalton. That's where he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
His prime is behind him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, is he a better quarterback than Justin Fields right now? Yes.
Yes, he is.
He's seen a lot. So, you would expect them, you can expect them to take some chances with Andy Dalton. You can't take them chances with Justin Fields. And I just can't get over. How can you go back and look at the kid's last college football game? The best thing he put together on tape, down the preseason. And then you come up with this?
Yeah.
Look, man. Detroit's coming to town. Couldn't be a better time. Don't know what to expect. But I'm going to let you finish this up because I'm just going to get ready to watch the damn game.
That's all we can do at this point. It's like sometimes you get scheduling breaks, but really we got two bad teams playing next week, this week coming up at Soldier Field. And, Soldier Field might not be our home because I know you've seen all that chatter. We about to move we can get off into that, Yeah.
When we kind of look into it a little bit more and talk about our experiences at Soldier Field and what it means to us, because obviously things change. The league is going in another direction, and the Bears are 15 to 20 years behind the average franchise in the league.
Smallest stadium in the league.
It comes down to facilities.
Yeah.
And just even owning your own football stadium. The Bears don't even do that right now. So that's a whole different conversation. And we could chop it up on that one day, but I just want to win a damn football game.
I'm gonna take glass half full approach. We should be 0-3. We 1-2. We got another bad football team coming in this week that we should be able to beat. So we could be 500 at the end of this week, and we'll feel better being 2-2 versus 1-3. Despite who the quarterback is, we Bears fans, and like you always say, we either gonna cheer for the Bears or we prepared to laugh at them.
Drafting Justin Fields kind of changed the way I felt about that, because I really felt good about him. But I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready to laugh at him. Yeah, I'm damn near ready to cry. Because here's the thing. We see Justin Fields, the thought coming to my mind is that Justin Fields might be, I don't know if you ever had this before, but he might be one of those. If this continues to go down like this, and I hope he does. Justin Fields can be one of the first rookies to say he don't want his option. Don't opt in on me.
And trade me.
Get me the hell out of town.
It's possible.
I mean,
But
if it's gonna be like this,
but we know Fields got a longer shelf life than Nagy. So we get a coach in here who really understands what the hell he's doing and call plays to his, his skill set. Justin probably ain't gonna feel like that. Justin got he signed a 3-4 year deal, I think.
I'm not sure on the particulars on this contract. I'm really not. But this the thing. I get it. Got the new shiny toy, Justin Fields. And I don't get me wrong, because I'm extremely happy that they got it for several reasons. But you cannot get away from the strength of your team, especially when that guy fits your strength. That's the crazy thing. David Montgomery was the strength of this football team until Justin Fields has an impact. All of this stuff is potential.
Yeah.
But if you don't put him in position to do what he do best, you're just going to be broken. And like I say again, he could be one of the first rookies to say, hell no, man, let me think. Because when Deshaun Watson asked us, no, he had already picked up his option.
Yeah, he had already got paid. Yeah.
But I could see Justin Fields on a higher note doing the same thing. The rumblings of by next year, this ain't going right. I can see some rumblings, and he start hearing rumblings. Justin Fields want to try and get the hell out of Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, but
it'll be that exact opposite of the Mr. Trubisky experience. Because Mr. Trubisky did everything he could to buy into what Matt Nagy was trying to do. But I don't think Justin don't come across like that. Because remember, this is the same guy that went to Georgia out of high school and decided to go to Georgia. Probably could have went anywhere in the country, but he wanted to go to Georgia, his home state. And when he started things were not working in his favor, he transferred.
Yeah.
That mentality is not going to leave him anytime soon. The kid is competitive.
Yeah.
And I think all of his years of development, he's going to say to himself, man, these people don't know what the hell they're doing. You can get me the hell up out of here.
Hey.
And keep in mind, Cam Newton mentored the kid in high school. So the kid's been around pros since high school. So he has an idea how this thing should go. Up until this point, he's been very well so prepared for the moment. He handles himself well. But I could see him saying, hey, I love the fan base, but I got to get the hell out of here because this is a great fan base. If they could capitalize on this experience with Justin Fields, oh my goodness. It can be big.
Well, hopefully it's they rectify the problem. The problem is clearly play calling, head coach. Hopefully we don't have to sit here and be like, damn, we had Justin Fields and now he's at some other franchise tearing up the league. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully like I said, I'm not calling for Nagy's job, but the proof is in the pudding. If you're not going to do what you brought here to do, and you don't show yourself to be a competent head coach that can't make adjustments and call plays to the skill set of your team, then, hey, you got to go.
I'm calling for his job. I'm calling for him to give up the play calling.
Oh, I bet Lazier calls plays this week, and I bet Montgomery has a big game. And if we keep rolling like that, then this season can be salvaged. But as long as Nagy's calling the plays like he did on pretty much every game this season, you know what it's going to be.
I want to look on the bright side a little bit after the ass whooping took place. You know I don't curse much, but that's the only way I can describe that. That was a straight up ass whip. I mean, that just crossed my mind. The last time you been in a fight?
Man, we talking about high school. We talking about years.
Okay, so when the last time you seen an unfair advantage, meaning guys jump on one guy? A few guys jump on one guy.
We talking about real life or world star?
Anytime, I mean real life. Because I'm going to break something down to you while I come up with it.
It's been a minute, but world star, you see it every day. But go ahead.
And when you see this, you be like, oh man, damn, they're kicking his ass. Well, look here. This the thing. Cleveland, the day they went to Cleveland on Sunday afternoon, Matt Nagy sat there and watched Justin Fields get his. Not just Justin Fields, because the quarterback and his O-line, meaning the 5 guys blocking, they're all one unit as far as I'm concerned until the ball is snapped.
Yeah.
Well, matter of fact, throughout the whole play, because it takes 11 to make it work. But he didn't help his offensive line, and he didn't help his quarterback. He just watched them get their ass whooped.
And in essence, he didn't help himself, because now he on the hot seat.
Hey, on the bright side, Justin Fields came out with a hand injury. They say he's doing well. No major injuries. Hopefully no mental setbacks with this whole experience. Some people say he held the ball too long at times, and I did see that a little bit. But from the gate, he was never set up to succeed. So, on the bright side, no injuries, no major injuries to the quarterback, the future quarterback. I'm through with the franchise crap. I mean, that's the brightest thing, and the experience he's going to take away from this whole thing.
Yeah,
that's the brightest thing. Could it get any worse than getting sacked 9 times?
it can't. It cannot. 6 out of 20 sacked 9 times. You ran for your life all day, so it's got to go up from here. But
he got sacked 9 times. David Montgomery rushed the football 10 times. At halftime, David Montgomery had 7 carries for 26 yards.
he finished with 10 for 34.
Okay, so he got 3 more carries in the second half. Say again, first play of the game was the best play of the game. David Montgomery around the left side. Boom, 16 yards, and then the pass interference. Thank God Detroit's coming to town, but they ain't gonna be no cupcake either, because they not playing bad. They not playing bad at all.
They just lost on the NFL record field goal at the buzzer, 66 yards. So it's gonna be a game. But
I'm looking forward to it, and we gonna watch the game. Hopefully, we can put all this behind us. Justin's still in one piece. Let's see how it goes.
all we can do is watch the game.
Special thing, man. We send a special shout out to Dennis Jackson, my boy, William Bates. This one of my Facebook boys. Look, William Bates, Cutter Pac-Man, Snack Daddy, Uncle Ben. Hey, we had a blast out at in Ann Arbor, man. We can talk about that when we get all this frustration out the way. Watch the Game podcast. We see you after Detroit.
We out.